Oh, okay. I got it. You're saying that it's what are you saying that I have dramatics or you like the fact that I don't have dramatics? Because I don't particularly think that I am overly dramatic. All right, I'm live on YouTube for those of y'all who want to go over there. Did I know the letter has been posted? Yes, I did lots of videos on the letter today. Here, let me address that real quick. So when you make videos, you have to do things if you want your videos to be seen, to basically a hook or to grab attention so people don't scroll away. Um, Creators like myself don't want to put time, effort, research into videos for them to get very few views. So we often will do things that might try to grab the attention. It's not really dramatic. Every creator does it. Um, some sensationalize significantly more than others. Some flat out lie. That's what happens. So, you know, that's kind of how that is. I have 1 million followers for a reason. So now that that's said, um, let's talk about Gabby Petito. I know we want to talk about Kohberger, and I promise you we will talk about Kohberger. But for those of y'all who've been following me for a period of time, you guys know that Gabby Petito, that case is very near and dear to me. I've made friends from that case, and I don't know. It's one that until the day I die, I will always, be very close to and will always think about and will always defend everybody but the Laundries in that. So, that all being said, the letter. I watched and streamed the bulk of today's uh, hearings. There was more than just the letter today. They were also looking to dismiss certain lawsuits against Bertolino. What was very interesting too was that when the Laundrie's attorney was there, and Laundrie's were not in court, by the way, because they don't ever show up. But their attorney was trying like hell to throw Bertolino under the bus. And here's the thing. I have no love loss for Stephen Bertolino. None. But he's an attorney. And he's a family friend of theirs, but he was hired and retained to do a job. Unfortunately, that takes a lot of he's going to take a lot of flack for that, because especially with who his clients were and how they were acting. And I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying is that he's not necessarily the enemy. He is an attorney. So, Bertolino's attorney was pretty decent, long-winded. It took both of those attorneys over 2 hours or about 2 hours to get through what they had to say, and they both basically said the same thing. The judge has not made a decision on what he's trying to dismiss, but based on the fact that the judge allowed the letter not to be thrown out, I think that that's a pretty good indication of what might happen. So now, all of that said, Pat Riley, the attorney for Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, Gabby's parents, was a fucking rock star, y'all. Like, he was absolutely amazing. And he kind of threw some shade when he first came out, saying how he wasn't going to take over 2 hours. He basically debunked everything that they said. And as you can tell, they made the decision pretty quickly on the letter, burn after reading. Let me get this letter pulled up real quick. Because I would like to share it with y'all, and we can read it and we can go through it if you haven't seen it already. Maybe I can find it by looking at images. Do we have it here? Is this it? So I'm trying to get it pulled up here because I want to read you all. Here's a transcript of the letter. Okay, here we go. We're going to read the letter, guys. For these things off. Here is the letter. Okay, I didn't post the letter on my Instagram, but I did post Roberta Laundrie's response, which we'll talk about too. I do know that JB is live. Yes, talking about the letter. Here's what she says. So the envelope says, Brian Christopher Laundrie, burn after reading. I just want you to remember that I will always love you, and I know you will always love me. You are my boy. Nothing can make me stop loving you. Nothing will or could ever divide us, no matter what we do or where we go or what we say. We will always love each other. If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it. If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a shovel and garbage bags. If you fly to the moon, I will be watching the skies for your reentry. If you say you hate my guts, I'll get new guts. Remember that love is a verb, not a noun. It's not a thing. It's not words. It is actions. Watch people's actions to know if they love you, not their words. Therefore, I am certain that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor the ruling spirits, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers from above, nor powers from below, nothing in the entire create world can separate our love. Neither hostile powers, nor messengers of heaven, nor monarchs of earth, nothing has the power to separate us. Romans 8:39, extended version. Nothing can separate us, not hatred, not hunger, not homelessness, not threats, not even sin. Not the unthinkable or thinkable can get between us. Not time, not miles and miles and miles. Oh, there's a picture of the letter. Okay, we'll put that on later. I'll put the actual letter on later on my Instagram. So let's talk about this. Could it be code? Maybe. It depends on how conspiracy theory you want to get with it. Alyssa, my wife, thought that there could be code about like reentry, like the reentry part and certain things that were said. I don't know if it goes that deep. Holly, I used to say no, and now I'm not sure. But for those of y'all who are new here or who weren't aware of this because you started following me from a case, when my channel first started, Ask Away Lori, it was about narcissistic parents, a narcissistic mother, a boy mom, if you will, not a mom of boys. Please, moms who have boys, please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm talking about somebody who wrote that type of letter. That letter to me, this is again my personal opinion. That letter is emotional incest. I think that Brian was the supply. I believe that Roberta Laundrie is a narcissist and does not love her son because a narcissist cannot truly love anybody but themselves. That is my opinion. I feel like this letter is very manipulative and perhaps a little telling because yes, when people say, hey, I'd help you hide, I love you so much, I'd help you hide a body. Yeah, that's kind of an expression, right? Okay. But when you get into shovels and garbage bags, I love pastel colors. When you get into things like shovels and body bags and files and cakes and some of the other things that were said, y'all, it gets a little weird. It's a little weird. And here's the thing. People are very concerned about the date. The guts thing was very strange. I'm not overly concerned about the date because here's why. To me, it's not relevant whether it was written right before they went on the trip, during the trip, or a year before they went on the trip. And here's why. No matter when it was done, the earlier it goes, if it is associated with the death of Gabby Petito, and it does have messages in there, to me, that could indicate extreme premeditation, depending on when it was done. He was not an only child. He has a sister, which if we want to get into the analytics of that, we could be here all night. But there's some very weird stuff. It sounds like he might have known. But here's the thing. So Alyssa and I we went on a walk tonight, and we were talking about this letter, and Alyssa's initial opinion on it was maybe she wasn't a narcissist. And I said, well, I disagree, and we talked about it, and now I think that she and I are on the same page with that. But to me, the fact that she said nothing shows that she was at first trying to protect herself the most. That's how I took it. The fact, because here's the thing, Brian shows up with her van without her, without Gabby. They shut off their phones. They shut off their social media. They refuse to answer Joe Petito or Nicole Schmidt's phone calls. When police show up, they hand him the card for Stephen Bertolino. They never say a word. They sit silent the entire time. They've stayed silent the entire time with one exception, this letter. This letter. When it first begins to surface, she makes a statement, and she made a statement again tonight, which we'll get to in a second. As some of y'all are mentioning, yes, in the middle of the trip, he came home about a storage unit. He came back to clear out a storage unit, which his sister Cassie said was a locker. He flew from Salt Lake City, Utah, supposedly last minute, to Florida to clean out a storage locker, which was maybe $50, maybe let's be very, very generous and say $100 a month, so they could stay on their trip longer. They put Gabby in a hotel to do this. So how much money do you think that he was saving by cleaning out this storage locker? At least $1,000, right? They're going to be on that trip 5-6 months. It's all very suspicious to me. It's always been suspicious, and unfortunately, we will never get answers. And as my wife just said, I think that was a planning portion. I thought that since day one. I thought that since day one, that it was a planning portion or a planning session. How can they write Bertolino in this, an attorney-client privilege I know the bar holds? Because they're alleging that Stephen Bertolino made these statements even as an attorney, knowing full well that Gabby was already dead. That's why. It's a great question. I was telling Alyssa tonight that my personal opinion, and I love Joe and I love Rose, and you all might disagree with me, but I do believe that with one exception, I believe that the lawsuit against Bertolino should be dismissed, thrown out, because of exactly what you said. He was their attorney. He probably did what he was told. We don't know what they told him or not. If Roberta knew that Brian had murdered Gabby and knew where the body was, maybe they didn't tell Bertolino that. I wouldn't. And Bertolino is making statements based on the knowledge that he had. Now, the exception to that is what we learned during the Johnny Depp trial, which is if the attorney went rogue, if Stephen Bertolino went rogue and made these comments on his own, then, yeah, he needs to be held responsible. I don't think that's what happened here, though. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the judge decides. Well, the thing is, he's not, Judy, he's not a criminal defense lawyer. He's a real estate lawyer. So as of now, somebody asked about charges for her. As of now, this is all a civil matter. The likelihood of criminal charges being brought against Roberta Laundrie is slim unless something really surfaces. Now, that's not what I would like. I would love there to find Abby, you know my thoughts on Cassie. You've asked that back when we did it, and I told you that I didn't agree with you then. And you know I love you, Abby. So I'm not being mean, I promise you. But you know that I don't think Cassie knows anything. You know that I don't. You know that I think that. He was not licensed. He's not licensed to practice in Florida. So Angie Solomon just came in, or I don't know if it's somebody helping Angie with her account, like Ethan. You can let me know. Angie Solomon just came in. This is another case that has become very near and dear to me, and it is incredibly complex, and we are trying to make it grow. Nope, never changed, Abby, and you don't have to apologize ever. Um, for those of y'all I said earlier, there will be a vigil in Nashville tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I will be there along with some other creators that you guys really like. So if you are in the Nashville area, I would encourage you to come down. Yeah, I agree, Leah. I don't think it's going to be possible to hold Berlino to it. I think that, look, the Petito, Gabby's family is angry, rightfully so. Their daughter was taken. These people shut off their phones. They stopped responding. They never said a word, nothing, while this family is frantically searching for their child. And these are people who are parents. They say nothing. So they want to sue everybody involved, and I get it. Hold on, I see something just happened. Give me a second. In regard to what we're talking about, I gotta go to Twitter real quick. Hold, please. No, I hate this. Hold on. I'm trying to find something. I have to sign in first. Yeah, I know JB tweeted. That's what I'm trying to get to. During our stream, Laundrie attorney Stephen Bertolino texted me saying Roberta's letter was in the possession of the FBI for weeks before Brian's remains were discovered. That is not new news. That's not new news, guys. JB Buno, WFLA in Florida. He was the one probably covering this case the most. He also does a lot of streaming. Good guy. Great guy. So, anyways, this is my opinion on this. Before we get into Kohberger, which we will, and then we can always circle back to this. Let me go through and tell you what Roberta said. Get it pulled up because, again, I want to read it to you verbatim. Again, Roberta has only made 2 statements ever. Okay. Yeah, everybody, you know what? Everybody go to Twitter and tag JB. That's what y'all should do. So there was, or even on TikTok, Roberta Laundrie made a statement when the letter was first, we first found out it existed, and here's the one that she made tonight. Y'all just heard the letter. The letter to Brian was written prior to Gabby and Brian leaving my home for the trip. Previously, I submitted an affidavit to the court for very limited purposes, but that is not the whole story. Now that the letter has been shared, I ask that you read it in its entirety and understand that the letter contains other phrases besides those highlighted by Pat Riley for sensationalism and to bolster his case. I truly loved my son and simply wanted to convey to him how much he meant to me and how much I loved him. I am sure people use phrases all the time to express to their loved ones the depths of their love. Although I chose words that I thought would be impactful with Brian, given our relationship, the letter was in no way related to Gabby. Please read the entire letter before you believe the hype put out by Pat Riley. So, it's, to me, the only times that she has responded is when this stuff is directly impacting her. I don't think that she loved Brian. I think that Brian was in her narcissist supply. I think that it's, as Ness just says, a creepy, emotional incest. You did miss the letter, Emily. But if you wanted to jump over to YouTube, I'll probably do it again in a little bit. I'll probably circle back to it. If you wanted to go to YouTube, though, I'm streaming live there, and you can go back and rewind on that. So I don't think that, well, it's okay that you don't think like that. I had a narcissistic mom who did think like that. So that's why I believe that. And even my mom didn't ever write anything like that. Didn't they? They didn't even correct the police on that. It was Roberta instead of Brian to police. Yes, they got confused. It's not lightly used. I think that there are a lot of people, especially of a certain generation, that are very narcissistic, and I don't think that people use it lightly. I don't use it lightly. I don't call somebody a narcissist for the sake of throwing that out there. I didn't say anything, Ellen. I said nothing. um, you can have narcissistic traits, but not be a narcissist. Correct, but there is a difference. Everybody has narcissistic traits. I have narcissistic traits. You do. I don't know you, but I know you do too. Everybody does. Everybody does. Uh, everybody does. But there's a difference between having traits and being full on. Moms don't write like this and leaving on a trip. Yeah, it's weird. I think that I think it was emotional incest. I think that it was jealousy of Gabby. Just that's what it is. So that being said, um, okay, explain how the letter's narcissistic. Okay, let me get the letter pulled back up. Where is the letter? It was on. There it is. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, let me go find the transcript of it. When everyone's posting up at their house. Yeah, I am too. Um, I'm glad that we all did a banner. So, okay, if you read the letter, it's a lot of talking about love and how she would do anything for him. And this is not the way a normal mother child relationship looks like. It's not. Anybody in here who's a parent has any of your parents ever wrote you a letter like this, or have you ever wrote a letter like this um, to your children? As Judy said, the letter is love bombing. Look what I would do for you. Yeah, I have. I'm reading the transcribed version on WFLA site. Actually, it's very very cringe. It talks about things. I mean, really, it's everything that I would do for you. The depth of my love, and to me, as I read it, is there is nobody else that would ever do what I would do for you. I would do all of this for you because I love you so much. Nobody's going to love you as much as I love you. Okay. Gabby Petito lived in their house for a year. She was engaged to their son, and they couldn't be bothered to even pick up the phone when Gabby's parents called. She didn't care about Gabby. She cared about her son. And the same what happened with my mom when I got with Alyssa. My mom was jealous of Alyssa and did what she could to try to break us up or try to drive a wedge between us, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Um, you know, so to me, that's what this message is that nobody will ever love you more than I will. So that's how I feel like it's narcissistic. The other way is because it is love bombing. It's all of this stuff, because I believe based on what we've seen over the year and a half that was covering this, or since they're 2 years now, really, almost, about year and a half. Yeah. Anyway, what we saw at the time everything was going on and it was fresh. I think that Brian was her narcissistic supply, meaning that emotional incest. This letter to me is very emotional incest, that she views her son more as a partner, not romantic, not sexual, but to be able to keep control of him, show that nobody's going to love more. So she maintains power and she can continue to utilize him the way that she wants to utilize him. And as you just said, control him. That's how I read this. A true narcissist is not capable of love. Okay. And And I don't think, and look, I'm not going to get down on somebody on the way that they grieve. Everybody grieves differently. The Laundries knew that they were very publicly being watched. But as a parent, and a lot of y'all in here are parents, when they went into the reserve the day after it was open and they found remains within like 30, 45 minutes of being there, um, you would have had to pull me as a parent off the ground. Okay. And this isn't even a dad, it's a mom, right? Usually, typically women, moms are going to be more open to showing emotion. And I'm not, and again, no judgment if that's not who she is. But well, she had to go take the car. Um, you know, it's just to me, he was a tool. He didn't care. She didn't care about him. She doesn't love him. She's not capable. Cassie Laundrie, I feel, was the redhead stepchild, so to speak, biting for attention, biting for the love that she never got, that her son would never be there. But yeah, sorry, yeah, they walked directly to him, but they never had to pull him off the ground. So um, it's just very strange, and we could go on for hours talking about this case and the things that are weird and the things that don't add up. So all that said, the father, Christopher Laundrie, Holly Dolly, great question. I think that Christopher Laundrie is a victim of Roberta also. Okay. Um, this does not excuse or justify anything, any part, because he could have come out and said something. He could have done the right thing, but he at least would talk to people or talk to the press or talk to the police. He was the only one that would come out and do anything. She always went straight from that car and went straight inside, and he stayed out. He was left to deal with everything. Everything. So while I don't agree with his decision, I think that Roberta Laundrie runs that household. She rules the roost. She wears the pants, and she has whittled Christopher Laundrie down to nothing. I think in any other circumstance, any other situation, Christopher Laundrie would probably be a very nice guy. I just kind of get those vibes from him. Again, not giving him a pass. But yeah. Enablers are still complicit. One, yeah, I 100% agree on that. That's a great way of putting it. 100%. So before we talk about Kohberger, because there's a lot there too, what would y'all like to? I need to check my YouTube people because I got all these things pulled up. Let me see. All right, we have weird people in the live. Whatever, it's cool. Yeah, they were gardening while she was missing. They're gardening while he was missing. Yeah. There's Brian in the bunker. Remember, this is a guy who got home. His fiance is missing, whatever the case is. He's mowing the lawn, going on vacation, going on camping trips. They knew, guys. They knew. There's no way they didn't know. Do I really think he passed? I have theories on that, but I don't want to sound insane. That's how I guess I will answer that question for you. But I do think that there's no way in hell that she didn't know. And the thing is, and I hate to say this, but I almost wonder if she sorry, I was reading somebody said. I don't remember where I was going. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, yeah, let's pin this real quick. Oh yeah, my theory. I'll go with my theory in a second. Okay, sorry, that's what we're talking about. Let me answer this because I think this is important because this is happening tomorrow. No, that's not. I didn't mean to pin you, Abby. I'm sorry. No disrespect to you, Abby. You know I love you. Tell us again where to find out about Solomon. I haven't heard anything about this case. Okay. Grant Solomon, and I will talk about him after we talk about Kohberger because I think it's a very important case. But I had Angie Solomon, Grant's mother. There's really two cases involved with this. But Angie's mother was the guest on my podcast of the last episode, 50 Words for Murder. And Grant's sister will be the next guest on my podcast. There's a lot of layers to this. Think like Murdoch trial kind of layers, a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of cover-ups. I mean, this guy, the father who is suspected to have killed his son, is best friends with the governor. So everything just magically went away. And the motive is basically is Grant trying to protect his little sister from her father abusing her. It's a very weird case. Things don't add up. But she, on my podcast, she was, Angie was my guest. It will give you a lot of information to that case. I also have a playlist, not very big here, and there are some additional things posted on Instagram. But I would say, really, if you want the best way to get the bulk of the information, go check out the podcast. And there is a candlelight vigil tomorrow night for that. I believe, I don't know if I've never fully confirmed that myself, Rosie, but I have heard that too. That's a long-standing rumor, and I'm not discounting it. But anyways, there's a vigil tomorrow night in Nashville for Grant, starting at 7, and I will be there. Yes, 50 Words for Murder. And if you want the easiest way to find it, if you go to the link in my bio, just click me up there. That's JustinOnTikTok.com. You scroll down, and I have links for Apple and Spotify to the podcast there. But it's on, if you're on Google or Pandora or Amazon or iHeartRadio, any of those, I should be on pretty much all of those. But those are the only two I put a link to. All right, so let me give you. I can't remember. Some of it's going back. A candlelight vigil for Grant Solomon here in Nashville. So let's talk about Kohberger. Well, let me finish this theory thing, and then let's talk about Kohberger because I know a lot of us want to talk about that. So here's my theory on this. The majority of me believes that he is. I'm going to talk about Murdoch in a second, Lori, as well. The logical part of me tells me that he's dead. Okay. But I feel like it was wrapped up in a neat little bow way too easily. The police and FBI spent hundreds of thousands of dollars searching the Carlton Reserve. And the day after it's open to the public, Chris and Roberta Laundrie find his remains within minutes. Okay. It's weird. Remains, parts of it. Now, I can tell you that Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia, she, along with Bullhorn Betty Andra and Jonathan Riches, they went to that reserve that next day or a day after that. And she said that it reeked of the smell of death, Olivia found the water bottle. Yeah, Olivia found her water bottle. Exactly. Which they did not care about. Yeah, it was mainly just his jaw. So here's kind of my thought. The other side of me, the side of me that wants to indulge a little bit of a conspiracy theory, is that we look terrible. The police thought that Brian was Roberta at one point, or Roberta was Brian. They spent all this money for the parents to find them, and they had to do this to justify spending the hundreds of thousands, if not more, dollars in doing this search. So let's just say he's dead and move on. Case closed. That's the conspiracy theory side of me wants to think. So now I'm going to switch over to Kohberger, and we can come back to this. We can do a full circle because I know people come in and out. We're going to switch to Kohberger, but here's the things. I did a video tonight and updated a total of 7 things in one video in under 5 minutes, and I will talk about all of those here momentarily. Okay, we'll start with Kohberger because I think that's very pressing. But there was an update on Murdaugh, the Alex Murdaugh trial. He was indicted on more charges. Update Natalee Holloway regarding the extradition of Urine Vandersloot. An update in the Madeleine McCann case, not Julia Windle or Fia Johansson, actual involved in Madeleine McCann. Grant Solomon, which we've talked a little bit about already. And I threw this in there because I thought it was newsworthy, a assassination attempt on Joe Biden. Okay. Lots of stuff. And I did all of that in under like 4.5 minutes. So you can go watch that video if you want. Now, that being said, there were a couple Kohberger updates today. So I'm checking on here real quick. All right. So let's, I definitely want to talk about, Murdaugh, but let's talk about Kohberger because I think I think that it's pressing. Okay. So for those of y'all who haven't already heard, I will let you guys know, basically today, in fact, let me pull it up because I don't want to get anything wrong. Give me a second. In regard to a grand jury and his parents and a woman named Dana Smithers. Okay. That's what I can tell you. I'm going to pull this up. Okay. So there was a missing person from May of 2022, and they found her May 1st, 2023. Her name was Dana Smithers. She was 45 years old. And she's from Monroe County, Pennsylvania. She lives not far from where her body was found not far from where Brian Kohberger lives. I don't know who's confirmed the alibi. I don't have that much information yet, Kathy. Supposedly Brian has a strong alibi. I figured it was Lauren. I was laughing kind of about it to myself. But it's okay. Hopefully they're in there and they'll bring you the brush. That's what I hope for you. That's my hope for you this evening is that you get the brush. Anyways, they called in a investigative grand jury called in Brian's parents. The mom's already testified, and the do not feel dumb. It's okay. I do, believe me, I've done stupider stuff. And the dad's testifying tomorrow. What I find interesting, because I don't think it's a leak. I don't think it's a leaked thing. I think that it's just known. I mean, there's no gag order in Pennsylvania, so I don't think it's a leak thing. I think that it's just a reportable thing. And we know that Dana was found, and they're saying that Brian has a strong alibi. So the parents could be being called in to confirm that alibi. But here's the thing. If it was a strong enough alibi and they didn't believe at all that he was, so I'm looking at something real quick. This is actually a theater chair and is very comfortable. They wouldn't, if they had enough reason to believe that he wasn't involved, I don't think the family would be there. I'm not saying that he was involved. Well, I don't honestly, Heather, I don't really know. I mean, I know that, yes, typically the grand juries that indict are secret. I don't know if that's the same with investigative ones. I don't know. But yeah, typically they are secret. No, I mean, the ones that I know of, I'm a little bit out of my wheelhouse when it comes to an investigative grand jury. Exactly. If it was so strong, why interview the family? And again, not saying that he is involved, but May of 2022, he then's going to college across the country, leaves that area shortly thereafter so he can go to college. It raises some red flags for me, is all I'm saying. And yes, as Ness just found, I'm going to pin this because it's a great comment. They found something that showed where she was because they found her recently after all the evidence for Idaho has been sorted out. That's possible too. That her discovery might have come from information that they found. We don't know. But there's enough information, it's weird. It's weird. Again, I'm not saying one thing or the other. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying that a grand jury has the woman's name is Dana Smithers. Um, Dana Smithers. So yeah, exactly. She disappeared totally. So it's just very weird. It's very suspicious. It's one of those things where if it, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Now there are somebody talking about the IDs. No, we don't know how she died, and apparently, I mean, her remains. She's been out there for a year. It's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to determine manner of death. Maybe I mean, these forensic analysts are really good. Pennsylvania will definitely have some phenomenal ones or access to phenomenal ones because you're not far from New York, you're not far from DC, you're not far from Philadelphia. I mean, that is part of Pennsylvania, so they'll have resources. But anyways, it's interesting. We're going to be following it very closely. So again, if you don't follow, make sure that you do so you get these updates. So now let's talk about the IDs real quick, and then we'll talk about the house. So Dateline apparently has come on and said that the IDs found in Brian Kohberger's in the search were not related to the Idaho victims. Sources months prior to the Dateline documentary say that they were, that one of them was. Yeah, unless her bones show stab wounds. Exactly. So you can choose to believe the Dateline one, or you can choose to believe the data that came out months prior. I am choosing to believe the data that came out months prior. That is mine. That is my choice. You believe what you want to believe. I believe that one of the IDs was related to the victims, but we don't know which one. And that was reported by several reliable news sources. But if you don't believe it, totally okay. I respect your opinion. But that is mine. How did he get their IDs? Stalking, breaking and entering. For him to know the layout of that house, there's no way it was his first time in that house. I don't believe that for a second. Studying the house, breaking into it while everybody's at class or something like that. I just think that it's possible, and I think I mean, think about this. We've all heard now about, yes, there is something, Amber. I'm going to be getting to that. That is one of the cases we're going to be talking about here in a minute. So yes, so stay tuned. Like the woman who he was like he moved her underwear into like part of her car, her cup holder or whatever, or the side of her door. Told her she needed to get a security system. He installed the security system, had the Wi-Fi. I bet you money that a lot of that 51 terabytes was him observing her. Why do you think he would find interest in IDs? I don't know. Trophy, perhaps. More information, because on an ID you have date of birth. If he's got the ability to scan it or get more information off the number, I don't know what he has access to. I know that he basically, applied to the Pullman Police Department as trying to do some kind of like digital forensic analysis. So he obviously knows computers enough. So maybe he knows how to utilize the driver's license to track down more information. You have date of birth. You have a lot of stuff that's on that ID. I don't want to speculate why he would have taken an ID because I don't know. It's all purely speculation at this point. But sorry, didn't mean to kick that. But that's what it could possibly be. There could be a myriad of reasons why he would do that. He's also doesn't think normally, obviously. Okay, jury says all grand juries are secret. Usually they're left with bone destruction. Like, okay, yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Yeah, Judy's giving all sorts of information on this. So yeah, exactly. Everything that y'all are talking about here. But not stolen as far as I could tell. Could be student IDs. Yeah, exactly. We don't know. We don't know what it is. We don't know what type of IDs. We don't know what's in there. It could be a student. It could be a driver's license. It could be something else. So anyway, it's all speculation at this point until more information comes out, which I think it eventually will. It's just a matter of time. And the judge has not immediately said they're going to hold the gag order up. So that's still under debate. We might get that later this week. Now let's talk about the House. Okay. and I want to have an active discussion about the house. So, a couple months ago, we learned that the house was donated to the University of Idaho and that they plan to tear it down and create basically a memorial kind of park type thing, right? Um, then it wasn't destroyed on the date that we were kind of told, but now the University of Idaho has said that it will be this summer. Some people involved in the case are concerned that what if a jury wants to walk through the house? The house won't be there. But the University of Idaho is apparently set on this decision. At this point, the house is completely boarded up. They now have a guardhouse there, somebody watching it pretty much full time. Um, so there you go. This is very weird, this guy here. How is this up here? Oh, I don't know how I got that. Yeah, that's a very weird comment that got put up there. You know, so yeah, exactly everything that you said, Ness. So, anyways, the house is going to be. We're done. I agree, Leah. Oh, it's on YouTube. Somebody keeps talking about like I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna give them the. I'm not even gonna talk about it. But it was apparently accidentally up on the comment board like the whole time. So, um, anyways, any questions about any of that or anything else that we want to discuss before we talk about Madeleine McCann or Natalee Holloway? Yep, apparently it's suspected that Papa Rogers was Brian, and I don't know if I believe that or I don't believe that, but I don't not believe it. They're end up cleaning up the house like crime scene cleaning. I'm sure that they did. I don't know for sure AMV, but I'm sure to some degree because if not that much blood, there would be odors. But so maybe to some degree, but I'm not really sure exactly how much. Am I frozen on YouTube? Can the judge order the house not to be destroyed? Yes, the judge could do that. Yeah, I think that it would be very eerie and very creepy to step into that house. I think that they're doing the right thing by demolishing it. Yeah, that's a very good point, Jesse. Maybe I'm gonna pin it. Possibly want to demolish the home while the students are gone for the summer unless people are around. That's valid. I don't know. No, I'm good over there. That person, I just ignored them. It's hard to kind of figure out how to do moderators on it. We have talked about Roberta Laundrie's letter. If you want to, user, I am live on. I will probably circle back to it after we get through a few other things. But I am live on YouTube. It was the very first thing that I talked about. So if you wanted to go to my live on YouTube, you can rewind it, and you can see me talking about that same as I was talking on here. So um, just for what that's worth. I don't know if the jury is going to look through it or not. As Judy said, and Judy gives me a lot of good legal stuff because she's an attorney. If there's evidentiary value in keeping it, then the judge will order it. So that's what we're going to do. No, it's okay, Abby. Right now, it's okay. So I'll let you know if it changes. There's 24 people on YouTube, so it's pretty chill. Well, it's pretty chill in here too. Do you think it will be hard to pick a jury for this case since it's so widely known? I don't think it'll be any more difficult. I'm gonna answer it in a kind of evasive way, but not really evasive. I don't think it will be any more difficult than it will be to have picked a jury for the Murdoch trial. That's how I'll say that. Which we're going to move to in a second. So, yeah. So I haven't heard about that, Jill, yet. Um, Yeah, the Lori Vallow case, I didn't really follow that one. I was kind of I needed to take a break, and I did. And that case was kind of difficult to follow, anyways, because the judge was not allowing cameras and streaming. So I was like, "F this." I'm gonna take a break on this one. So here's the thing about true crime, in this world. When you are on the algorithm that we are on, you know about these things. Speaking of, hey, Lori, we were just kind of talking about, indirectly talking about you. So, yeah, big media, same state. Exactly. I know. I agree. I agree. I did ditch you on that one for the reasons I just mentioned, and I should have done better on that. And I'm sorry. I just, but you know what, Lori, you did such a great job on it. You didn't even need me. We'll do another one. We'll do another one. I did. I need to fess up on this. I was a really shitty friend to Lori. I will fess up on this. Um, I had committed to Lori that we would do the Vallow Daybell case together, and then I kind of I basically ghosted the situation. I ghosted her on it, and it was not intentional to ghost her, but that's just kind of what happened. That is me. I love Lori. I will take complete ownership of it. I will not mince words. I will not make excuses. That is just what happened. Yes, I am allowed to not do every case, but I did say that I would, and then you know, that's what happened. So I will be accountable for that, for my actions. And yes, I'm sorry, Lori. You can ditch me on you can ditch me on the next one. You can leave me hanging. I know we're good. Um, all right, let's switch over to Madeleine McCann because I know you've been patiently waiting. So yes, there are some Madeleine McCann updates. This is very thank you for the little heart. I love the little heart guy. Um, so these are not Madeleine McCann updates like Julia Wendell or Fia Johansson. These are like legit, real Madeleine McCann updates. So they have carved out a portion of a reservoir in Portugal where they believe they might find some evidence of Madeleine, mainly clothing. Is what they're looking for. Now, as somebody had mentioned, I believe in the video talking about it, it's been 16 years with them not being synthetic fibers. I don't know how much textiles would truly be left, if any. But they've brought in like all sorts of things. They've set up camp. British and German police are helping assist. We are on day 2. They brought in a remote controlled tractor, amongst a whole bunch of everything. I think hair lasts forever for the most part. I mean, I guess not totally forever, but forever. Oh, thank you, little heart guy again. But I don't know if they're looking for hair. I think they're looking for textiles. And what they've determined is Christian Bruckner, who is the pedo, who has always been long suspected as being the top suspect in this case. They now have more concrete evidence that he was living in the area, not far from that at all. Wouldn't bones maybe in water and reservoirs might not. I mean, we all eventually turn to complete dust or things get carried off or ate, whatever the case is. I don't know how long bones would last in that environment, but because I mean, you got to think how often you don't find bones after. I mean, I don't know if in 16 years if you would. I maybe we could Google that. But they're looking for remains of some type of her, and I guess they are smarter than I am because they thought there would nothing be left. If they thought nothing would be left, they wouldn't be spending the resources. So, anyways, so that's what's going on, and I hope that they find something because the McCanns deserve an answer. And I know a lot of people think that the McCanns were involved. I do not. I think that people always like to look for that, but I don't think so. 2-year study says cotton only lasts 50 days. Okay, great. Judy, do you by chance know how long bones last while you're doing that? And that's why I was thinking it would have to be synthetic fibers. That's the only way. Yeah, but they deserve answers. Awesome, Don. Thank you. I think that's a good way to get paid while you listen to me. I do think that somebody gave them a tip, and I think that they've uncovered additional information. That's basically what I gathered one. Yeah, polyester is common. Now, going back 16 years, like I know now they try to avoid making children. Actually, maybe they don't. I don't know. Actually, I don't want to say that. I don't know. Didn't they find blood in the parents' car? There was a rental car. I don't remember. I don't think they found blood. I think that the cadaver dogs alerted, but that doesn't mean necessarily anything. Any updates that you might be missing? I am live on YouTube as well. You can go jump over to YouTube, Justin on TikTok. Please follow while you're there because I am trying to grow YouTube. Because they actually pay their creators. I'll bitch about TikTok in a minute because they completely fucked me over. Sorry for the vulgarity, but anyways, you can go back to YouTube and you can rewind and watch and see the updates, so you can see it. That's what it is. So anyways, before I bitch about TikTok, which I will in about a second and last for like 30 seconds, I will bitch and then I will stop. But yeah, that's what's going on with Madeleine McCann. So we will see what, if anything, that they find. Yeah, so Sandy, let's talk. No, I transferred. Here's the thing. There was a new creator fund that they did that's supposed to pay better. And they sent me an invite. You qualify for this. Once you accept it, you can't go back to the creator fund. You have to go forward with this. So I talked to Dr. Rubin because Dr. Rubin was in beta. And I say, Dr. Rubin, is this what you were in? And he's like, yep, I made significantly more money with my videos because again, we don't make anything. I spend a lot of time and effort doing these things and I don't really make money. I don't really make money off it. I've never done any ads. I've got 8 subscribers, which is great. And I'm very appreciative of that. But then as soon as I qualified for it, the next day they sent me a letter saying that because I had CV, community violations from April, that they were kicking me out of the program and I could reapply 6/3. So for all the videos, all the work, all the views that TikTok gets from me, they have not paid me a single fucking penny since I transferred over. They invited me over to transfer to get me out of the creator fund and then kicked me out of it. That is what happened. If I could possibly move a large chunk of my following over to other platforms, I would do it and get the hell off of this app. I hate them that much. They won't verify me. They won't take down accounts impersonating me. They do all of that stuff. So anyways, I bitched for about a minute. That is what happened. And I will shut up for the moment and we can talk about now Natalee Holloway, because that is another update that we have. Yes, I am. So I will do it again. So anyways, so if you want to support me and you can, because, to help cover some of the costs of the stuff that I do, feel free to do so, but please no obligation. Up to you if you want to subscribe or support, whatever you want to do. Have they said why they won't verify me? Every time I submit for verification and I send them the documentaries, I send them the articles, I send them everything, the news stories that I was in, everything that I've done. I've even gone into including the our wedding was a pilot episode of a reality TV. I've done that amongst other publications that I did before I was ever on, before TikTok even existed, that I was in for other things. And they just say that I don't meet the criteria and that the criteria is secret. And the thing is, like, yeah, I can't. No, it's okay. And the thing is, like, I could do battles and I could beg for money. I just can't in good conscience do that. I'll say that if people want to support me, feel free to support me. If you want to give gifts, you can, but I will never beg for them. So, no, I don't apologize. So let's talk about tapping. Doesn't get me paid, but what it does is it gets more people it gets me to the front, the For You page, gets more people in the live. Yeah, my wedding we were the pilot episode for a live reality show. I believe if you go to my website, you can watch. If you want to bore yourself for 30 minutes, you're welcome to go watch it. Yeah, I know they encourage battlers because maybe that's why they won't. Maybe if I started doing that, So anyways, Natalee Holloway, you're in Vandersloot. Website is justontiktok.com. You can get to it through the link in my bio. It was 6 episodes and got canceled. So the wedding episode. Okay, bones 6 months or more, but it depends on how they're preserved, and they can last longer. And water fragments can be there for many, many years. So there you go. So maybe they could find something. You ever hear the support you should? Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally fine with that, Carrie, if anybody wants to do that. So yeah, Jorn Vandersloot. His attorney has said that he was going to fight extradition, and it appears that he was not successful, which is fantastic, and that Jorn Vandersloot could be in the United States to face charges in regard to Natalee Holloway, sort of, as soon as June. Which we're talking now, what are we, May 24th? A couple weeks. He could be here in a couple weeks. He ran it over into a federal penitentiary being held, depending on how he pleads. If he pleads guilty, he'll get sentenced, whatever the case is. There won't be a trial. If he pleads not guilty or does not want to work with police, he will go to trial, and we will all hear about that. Okay. He is being brought in on charges of extortion and wire fraud. I know there's been a lot of confusion about him serving his sentence in Peru, his 28-year sentence in Peru. This would not end his 28-year sentence in Peru. Peru is lending us him to put him on trial. If he's found guilty and if he faces more jail time, he is given more jail time, then he will complete his sentence in Peru. He will, after it's done, he will be flown back to Peru to complete his sentence. Once his sentence is done there, he will then be extradited back to the United States to serve his sentence here. So that's a great thing. Jim Clemente said they might try to charge him with murder while he's here. I think that that is possible. Now, I don't know how that they would. His Peru is for murder, Susan, for murdering another woman. For murdering another woman. Beth Holloway deserves justice. And that mom, man, she is amazing. She has never stopped fighting. She has never stopped fighting. I'm actually working on getting her to be a possible guest on the episode of the podcast as well. So I'm hoping that they work him for a confession or more information on as to where Natalee is, to the point that they can charge him with something. So that is the hope, but I'm very excited about that. So let's see, what have we talked about? We've talked about Gabby Petito, which I'm very excited, very happy for the Petito Smith family to get that. We've talked about Brian Kohberger. We've talked about Alec Murdoch. We've talked about Madeleine McCann, Natalee Holloway. I feel like I'm missing one. Podcast is called 50 Words for Murder. You can get, if you go to the link in my bio, justinontiktok.com, you can get to the Apple or Spotify version from there. Please subscribe. That would be great. Who am I missing? I feel like, let me go back. Oh, Grant Solomon. We talked about Grant Solomon. I can't believe that. So now, I'll answer y'all's questions real quick. And then we will talk about the assassination attempt on Joe Biden, because it's almost hysterical. Okay, and I know I shouldn't say that in regard to an assassination attempt, but you'll get what I'm saying soon. For anybody who missed something that I just talked about that you are interested in seeing, I am live on YouTube right now. You can go to YouTube, and the great thing about it is, even though I'm live, you can rewind and see what we talked about and get those updates. So please feel free to do that. Did my roofers get done with the roof today? No, it's my roof is massive. It's a 2-day job, so it'll be done tomorrow. So assassination attempt on Biden. Yeah. Okay. And look, guys, I'm using the term assassination attempt very loosely. Okay. Do I think Roberta's letter was prior to Gabby's missing? Yes, I do. What do we want me to look into? Shoot me either an email or through Jot form. That way I won't forget. I am very ADHD. If I don't have it in writing, I will forget. And I can look at it. Anything that you submit, it's not a guarantee that it will become a video, but it is a guarantee that I will look at it. Okay. So, Joe Biden, a 19-year-old man from St. Louis, Missouri, named Cy Kandula, He is a South Asian man who is also a white supremacist. I'm not joking with you. Planned for 6 months to fly to Washington, D.C., rent a U-Haul truck, and basically crash it through the barriers of the White House and seize power and take the president's life if that's what it was going to take. Now, I know back in medieval times, you could kill the king and then you were king. Took this guy 6 months to plan this. 6 months. He got nowhere near Biden. He is arrested. Was he going 10 miles an hour? Okay, yeah. So he also had a Nazi flag on him and apparently was an admirer of Nazis because, I don't know, I guess Southeast Asian men are white supremacists. You can't, I use the term assassination attempt, like I said, very loosely. I don't think old Joe was worried. Yeah, he had a flag, a Nazi flag. I said I was using the term very loosely, guys. Very loosely. Not fun. No, it is. But the thing is, Sandy, it is funny. Judy, I don't know where they got the tip. They just got additional information. No, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. I would imagine. Well, I think here's the thing. I think that anybody who is willing to commit murder, nothing was in the U-Haul. It was an empty U-Haul. He just had a Nazi flag with him. Anybody who is willing to commit murder probably has mental health issues. That's not a normal thing. And the joke that I made at the end of that thing was that Clayton Bigsby taught us that you don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. And if you get that joke, we can be friends. If you don't get that joke, then you should research that joke. But yeah, that's today, guys. There's a lot going on. But like seriously, we have entirely too many Nazis in our country, and that is scary. We do. We do have a very large neo-Nazi population in the United States, probably one of the largest out there. Podcast should be on Audible. Let me look. Hold, please. It should be on Audible. It's supposed to be on Audible. It's on there. If you go to search and type in 50, the number 50, words for murder, it's on there. I'll show you. Look. I'll show you real quick. See? There it is. On Audible. And that's me. I want to rate myself. Hold on. I can't. There it is. So that's how you have to type it, like that. So give me a second. Flip camera back. Susan, are you referring to like in this chat and my following specifically? Because I can actually address that if that's the case. I texted, I can't get over the Laundrie's letter. Have you talked to Gabby's family since it was released? I was texting with Rose a little bit after the hearing. She messaged me. And I texted Joe, but didn't hear back from him, but I didn't text him in a way that required him to respond. I texted him just like, hey, congrats on the win today. Your attorney was awesome. Congrats on the win. So I've not spoken to them, but I would imagine they're probably a little bit overwhelmed. There's probably a lot to process. Joe has to, both of them have to take breaks with this stuff. They can't watch lots of other. It's hard. It's hard. Okay. Yes. Here now. So okay. So I have a little million 20,000 and change followers. Okay. 85% of my following, which means that's over 850,000, are women and 15% men. I don't know why that is. I think that I don't know why, but I think a lot of men have a problem with me, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, Joe always keeps calm. Joe has amazing composure. I know it's my hair. I think that myself and Under the Desk News should have a hair off. Yeah, Rose is pretty much amazing. She's great. And my content started out with narcissistic parent content, and I think that at the time I was one of, if not like the first man on TikTok that was talking about his mother, the narcissism, the emotional abuse, the incest, um, the mother trying to make, her son put her before his spouse. And I think that a lot of women related to that. And I think that's just kind of how it's always been. I think at one point, my following was 90% women, or maybe even higher than that. Yeah, and women are at risk, and that's another thing too. I haven't done it in a while, but I have a daughter, and I do talk about things that with women's safety in mind and awareness, and really just wanting there to be a better world for women like you guys, having things like fundamental rights, and a better world for my daughter, where women aren't just viewed as sex objects there to be abused. I have a problem with that. Probably lost about 10% when they found out I was married. Because I don't have a lot of following, and I also will often have, especially if I make videos about supporting women, which oftentimes will talk about men doing terrible things. I get called all sorts of names by these alpha males. Oh, thank you, Susan. Was my mother awful to Alyssa? Yes, very awful. Very awful. I don't know if they are coming right now, Chloe. I know Alyssa's talking about it. I think a lot is going to depend on how Victoria is, but I hope that they come. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Color. And I know that this is much easier said than done. If I had an LGBTQ grandchild, I was a person of color in Florida, I would be doing everything I can to get out. I truly would. So Judy found it's funny. She goes, "You're metrosexual and men are threatened. It's stupid of them." It's funny. I used to be Nobody really uses the term metro anymore, but I used to be metrosexual. I used to be a lot more than I am now. But I do care about the my appearance and looking nice, and being clean. And I don't know. Apparently, I've done videos on this. There's a whole thing about men not knowing how to wash their asses. I know that's gross, but apparently that's a thing, and I know how to do that. So it's weird, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm in the South, and I don't completely disagree with you. Do I fear that Mr. Solomon may retaliate against the vigil? No, not yet. He might. I don't know. I don't know if there's fear that he would show up or not. I think he's trying to keep a low profile. I will say, though, for anybody that is in the Nashville area, apparently Aaron Solomon is on is on dating apps. So if you are here, be careful. No, Grant's dad was not running for office. He was a news anchor, but he sat next to Bill Lee, our governor. I'm in Tennessee, in church. He had friends that went all the way up to the governor's office. He friends in the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, friends in law enforcement. That's why I think that this county, the city where Grant was killed or died, was done specifically due to his connections. Because when Grant was killed, the police were only there for 52 minutes. 52 minutes, and nothing is consistent about it. Nothing. So it doesn't cross state lines, so I don't think they can at this point. Well, it might. With Gracie, the daughter, it could cross state lines because apparently they went out of town for, I think, Grant's baseball game, and he abused her in the hotel in North Carolina, which would now have you crossing state lines, which means the FBI could get involved. Angie and I kind of spoke at length about that. So anyways, we're trying to get justice for them. That is what our goal is on all of this. So yeah. What else? What other questions we got? Not everybody talking once, guys. Yeah, the mom is Angie. Yeah, she was abused by him also. I just came across your page. I'm in Ashland City, and I know who Aaron Solomon is. Quick catch up. Yeah, absolutely. I will. There's not a quick catch up, so I will tell you a few things that are important points, and then I will direct you where you could find some more information about this. If you know who Aaron Solomon is, he is a news anchor, was a news anchor here in Nashville. I live in Nashville also. So I know that Ashland City is part of, I would say that's part of the Metro Nashville area. It is suspected that he killed his son Grant about a month after Grant turned 18. The motive being that Aaron was sexually abusing his daughter, and Grant, her brother, said that when he turned 18, he would do everything he can to get them out of the situation they were in, his mom, his sister, and protect them. This was a month after he turned 18. He died in very mysterious ways, and it was covered up. He was killed in Gallatin, Tennessee, Sumner County, and police won't look into it. Police were there for 52 minutes. It's a very weird story. There actually tomorrow night will be a candlelight vigil for Grant Solomon at, oh my God, I'm blanking on the park's name. What the hell is the park's name? It's at Third and Union. I know that. It's at Third and Union. Go to my Insta because I posted it on my Insta real quick. Oh, there I am. Hold on. Where'd I go? Anyways, it's going to be tomorrow night. I think I follow myself on this. I'll tell you exactly where. It is going to be at Public Square Parks. We're going to walk to the Omni Hotel downtown. Wear pink in honor of Grant's favorite color. That's optional. You can bring your own sign, also optional. And Justice for Grant. So you can do that if you want. Gracie Solomon, his sister. So for more information, Gracie Solomon, when she was about 12 or 13, recorded a video on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Susan. And she outlines what she had to endure at the hands of her father. On my last episode of my podcast, 50 Words for Murder, which you can get to through the link in my bio, Angie Solomon, Aaron's ex and Grant's mother, was my guest on my podcast, and Gracie's going to be on the next episode, which will drop from the first. So that is, yeah. So that is what all that is. Sorry, that was the quickest I could give you on an answer. Oh, thank you, Susan, also for the subscription. I appreciate that. I'm up to 9 subscriptions. That is awesome. My goal is to hit 100 by the end of the year. Yeah, there's so much with that case. Will I be live tomorrow? Yes, I am going to be there, and I will be there tomorrow, and I will be going live. No, they are not. Aaron is not in the picture anymore. 50, yes, spell 50. 50 words for murder. Again, go to justontiktok.com, which is in my bio, and you can get to it. Somebody asked a question, and I want to answer it for you. Where did it go? Did Roberta get a letter from Brian that made her write that burn after reading? That I don't know the answer to. I haven't gathered that, but I don't think so. Maybe I did get all the questions. I don't know. Thank you for being open about the emotional incest stuff. Yeah, it is. It's hard. I think it's something that more people need to be aware of, especially if you have a spouse or a partner or you've been a victim of that yourself. At least it gives it a label so you kind of know what it is so you can research it. And I think that, you look at Brian, the letter from Roberta Laundrie, that's a really good example of what that can look like. So explain that emotional incest. It's basically where it's not sexual or romantic incest, but it's basically in this particular case where a mother views her son as a partner for emotional needs, things that she should be getting and getting from and doing with an adult spouse. She projects onto the child and puts that burden onto the child. The letter was not before the trip. We don't know when the letter was, but even if it was before the trip, I don't think that whether it was during the trip or before the trip, I don't think that it mentions anything. I did talk about Murdoch. Murdoch is short, so I can do it again. 22 counts, additional counts. I think fraud, extortion. Oh my God, I can't remember what the other one was, but yeah, I mean, he's got 22 more. Now, somebody did say, now that you brought that, there is one thing that I did want to say that I didn't say when I brought it up about the charges. Somebody asked why, when he's been convicted of murder, he's never going to get out anyways. Well, what if he, by some chance, appeals? Yeah, father-daughter can absolutely happen too. What if something happens in Murdoch's case and he gets off for murder? He gets off of the conviction, he gets overturned, mistrial, whatever the case is. The financial crimes could also keep him in jail for the rest of his life, in prison, and they should. Even without murder, the millions of dollars that he stole, he should be in prison forever. Hey, Claremont. So, I mean, I do think that they could poke holes in the Murdoch case. I think he's guilty. Yes. Beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't know. So Carolee, sorry, I don't mean to mispronounce your name. I'm live on, what I would say is, I'm getting ready to get off because I'm fading quick, but I'm live on YouTube right now, and YouTube records the whole live where you can go back. I spoke about Gabby Petito first, and then we went into Brian Kohberger. There were several updates. So what I would encourage you to do, if you'd like, is jump over to YouTube. It's the same name. Not exactly, Sandy. I'll come back to that. If you want to jump over to YouTube, you can rewind it back towards the beginning, and then you could see everything there. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I promise you, I'm just fading quickly. And they were, I would say that it was pretty significant updates today on Kohberger. Did he admit to unaliving the help? Not exactly. What he said was he lied about the situation. He didn't say that he was involved. Thank you, Jillswood. I appreciate it. Would I be surprised to find out Kohberger was involved in other unalivings? Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, that's why I like going live on YouTube also. Plus, I'm trying to grow that because YouTube actually, compensates its creators, unlike TikTok. You know. Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you. I'm gonna go here. I am curious about the same things that y'all are. So, I knew what you meant. I got you. I knew what you meant when you said unsliced. I mean, it's kind of not funny, but it's funny, but not funny. Haha. That it's unsliced, and we're talking about somebody who uses a knife. Um, yeah, it's whatever you want. I mean, honestly, for YouTube, it's better for y'all too. I mean, I might be looking at the TikTok screen more because there's more people in here, but for YouTube, it's I'm more likely to see your question faster because there's a lot less people there. Yeah, I prefer to go through Life Unsliced as well. YouTube is the same name as on here. It is Justin on TikTok. And you can get to all my social medias also through the link in my bio. Justin on TikTok. It will take you to every social media that I have. His parents are testifying on under possible unaliving. Lawyer Lori talked about that tonight. Correct. That is true. They have been called into a grand jury, an investigative grand jury. And I spoke about that in a video this evening as well as tonight earlier. That's all correct. Hey, Patty. Okay, guys. Well, the roof people are going to be here at like 7 something tomorrow morning. And it is, what time? Where the hell did my clock go? I don't know. It's sometime. I know it's like 11:30. 11:30. I am on Clapper too, but I really hate Clapper. Color World Writer. Awesome. Well, thank you. And yeah, thank you guys. You as well, Teeny Till. I will say this. I won't beg, obviously, but if you feel like subscribing to support my content, please feel free to do so. I will eventually come up with special subscriber things. I promise that is my goal. One of the things I'm thinking of is like early access to podcasts and stuff like that. If I'm able to figure out how to kind of link that. But if you want to, you can. Feel free. I won't beg, but I will just say that is available for people who are interested. Yeah, no worries. Like I said, it's just up to people if they feel so inclined. Other than that, I will be live tomorrow at the Vigil. If you are in the Nashville area, I would encourage you coming out to support Grant. The subscription is for me. Yeah, for me on. I mean, I have subscriptions in other places. I think there's YouTube as well. There is TikTok. It's kind of being talked about, at least on mine up there. And then I don't know if I've turned it on or yet for the podcast. For the podcast, for sure. What I think I'd like to do, I'd like to do a podcast on Kohberger, maybe drop that in October or when we ever find out the trial, if it's going to be October 2nd. And maybe I can get Casey Little to be a guest with me on that. Maybe I can try to talk him into that. And then have him do a friend of the show thing as well. I'm really, if everything goes, I need to try to confirm it and get knocked down. I'm really excited about the September episode. Of course, I don't think I can play you out on Tina Turner without, that would take long to get the record and stuff out. Yeah, I think that's a very valid concern, Shari. So, all right, you guys have a phenomenal night. Thank y'all for hanging out and being awesome. And we will see you guys tomorrow at the Vigil. Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm a vinyl guy. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to show you that before I go out. Yeah, there's my vinyl. And that doesn't include 45s. So, what kind of focus it in? I guess I can't. But yes, anyways, I digress. Yeah, if I can find the live stream, I'm going to look for that before I go to sleep. I can't figure out how to flip this back. I'm so... There we go. All right. No, you're absolutely very welcome. Yeah, I love vinyl. I actually just picked up over my birthday a reissue of like the Smiths' greatest hits. So I'm very excited about that. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Why? There's a song by the Smiths. This is for anybody that's in here. I'm going to leave y'all with this. There's a song by the Smiths. And the Smiths is not everybody's like cup of tea, but there's a song called Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, which I love, and how that has not become, I'm still looking at, y'all still looking at that, sorry. How that has not become a millennial anthem is beyond me. So, yeah, I agree with you. I have a lot of Luda on rap. I have Little John, Little Dicky, several things on rap. That whole genre. It's called Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now. And like I said, how it's not become a Gen X, even Gen X or millennial anthem is beyond me. Like that is my goal with my platform, is to make that song. That is my new goal as of tonight, to make that song a Gen X millennial anthem. See, Katie over here knows that song. It's a great song. Absolutely great song. It's called Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now by the Smiths. So, okay, now that y'all know that, listen to it. Give me feedback on it when you hear it. If you hate it, you can tell me. And you all have a great night, and we will see y'all tomorrow at the vigil.